See, a nice cleaner setup. We don't have arms going. Forget the archers. I feel further away from you though, which I don't mind.
I can't smack you. I can't smack you when you know what I mean.
No. New setup. I like this. I don't know what number this is, Mother, but you've been here for the week. We missed a podcast. Do we want to tell everyone why?
Yeah.
Okay. Grandma had to hit the hospital.
Had
to hit the hospital. Not a big deal. She went into AFib, which means like her heart rate's a little too high for doing nothing.
She has erratic heartbeat.
Right, so it's not straight. So that's partially why Mom and Dad are here. Dad decided not to do the podcast. He was so distraught by Grandma's injury.
Yeah, couldn't take it.
No, Grandma's fine. She was telling the doctors it was time for her to walk out.
She's back to her old spunky self.
Yeah, she was literally telling the doctors what she needed.
Right. Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. But
put it this way, last night in the middle of the night when they came in for the blood, she sat up, she goes, absolutely not, get out.
She was offering them, like, I mean, do you have any food to give these doctors? It's like, Graham, what are you doing?
Came in. Don't we have anything to serve them? Going over
what are we doing?
What is this?
Yeah.
Coffee clutch?
So that's why last week we were a little, as I said, she's fine. After 90 years, she has to start taking some daily medications, which we were trying to avoid. We avoided for 91 years.
Yeah,
but
we could go to the bitter end on nothing but air and Pinot Grigio, but didn't quite work out that
Air
way.
and Pinot Grigio. Yeah, and now she's just on a blood thinner, so she's good though. She's back to normal.
Well, not more the blood thinner, but we don't want to share too much. It is kind of her personal business what she's on.
She doesn't even know what she's on.
Oh, I know. Every morning at 9 she gets 2 pills. No, it's 1. I don't know, Mom. Every day it's 2 pills in the morning.
Well, the blood thinners is just what you have to watch out for because now it's the bruising. But.
Yeah. Apparently it's very common.
Yeah. AOC, she was running like, her heart was basically doing a marathon while she was standing still. Her heartbeat, again, not giving away too much information, but I'm sitting there watching this thing and it would go from like 98 to 150. I was like, I'm on the treadmill and when I'm walking pace, like I'm at 150.
Even she said, because they tried medication first, she looks at the machine, she goes, they ain't bringing that number down.
They ain't bringing it, yeah. Well, here's what I want to say.
That's the attitude, Grandma.
So for those of you that have never been in a hospital, you have the emergency room, and then they take you up to like a bedroom if you're staying for a couple of days, which is what had to happen. So I'm in the ER with her because this was the day it happened.
Right.
These numbers are off the charts. I'm like, how does that even make sense? And they're giving her medication to bring it down. I forget what it was called. Mm-hmm. And she was going from like 98 to 150, maybe 130. It was just super fluctuations. So I'm like, man, they're going to have to go to the max dosage on this, which was 15 milligrams or whatever, milliliters of it. Milligrams. So.
No, I'm sorry. You're right because they were doing it as a liquid.
Liquid, yeah, milliliters. I'm always right. But when we go upstairs to the next room, I'm looking at her numbers and then they go down. And she goes, the other nurse goes, oh yeah, don't go by the ER numbers. I'm like, you guys just made medicine or gave her medicine based on the numbers in the ER.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so did you overdose my grandmother at 90? But yeah. And then she had, I mean, she's just good. We won't go into the details, but she did the surgery herself. Well, she was like, I'll do it myself.
It wasn't surgery. You sound like her. When am I having surgery? When are they cutting me open?
When are they
cutting you open, Mom. They're going to shock your heart. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what? Anyhow.
But yeah, that's why we missed podcast last week because of that. And then I haven't done much except for uploads because my mom and dad have been just taking my apartment. I mean, dad's treating the heater like it's his, like he doesn't pay it.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
Dad's
like, let me max this out.
He's
I'm like,
money on the counter. I told him leave some cash on the counter, like you're staying at the hotel.
Yeah. Leaving every light on. I noticed my vent was on the next morning. I was like, what are we doing, guys?
And the irony is, if you did that at home, you'd be in a lot of trouble.
If I touched the thermostat and get my hands ripped off. No, but we've been pretty sedimentary. We haven't done much. Dad and I just watching.
Golfed today.
Today.
You worked out.
That's one day of 7.
Well, you worked out. Dad worked on your car, right? He helped you out with your car.
That's true. My Ferrari.
We've been busy, Chris.
Yeah, I've been sleeping. Yeah.
Your routine hasn't changed much with us down here, you have to admit.
Yeah, no. Excuse me, not really, except for just work stuff. But besides that, yeah, everything's been pretty much the same. Played a lot of pool. I think I'm the first person to get a pool
injury.
Ooh.
Oh,
Mommy. I don't know how I did it. Well, I know how I did it, but like even professional pool player. You know how professionals get tennis elbow? I got pool thumb. So I don't know.
That sounds like a water infection.
Yeah,
A pool
like
thumb.
an ear infection. I got it. Yeah. I slammed the cue with my thumb into the. It's pretty bad. It was pretty gruesome. I was like, am I gonna need stitches?
It wasn't that bad, Chris.
It was bad. And then my mom's got the IV Pro, or no, what's the?
Neosporin, you didn't have any. I got it for you.
It was like a.
You made such a big.
I thought we were gonna amputate.
I took the one with the lidocaine in it.
But let me tell you, when I came back to that pool table, it was like, he's back. That's what it was. They're like, here he comes. I'm gonna fight.
Johnny LaRusso was talking about.
Danny Russo?
Danny Russo coming back to fight.
He's gonna fight? That's what it was like. I grabbed the pool cue. But,
Gonna do it, Mr. Miyagi.
And then today we golfed behind two of the slowest duos ever. Where, oh my God, like people were lining up to tee off. That's how slow these guys were. Like you would think you would look back, right? You think you would look back.
I'm not a golfer, so I can't comment on that. I'll probably trust me, you'll make up for it someday when I ever golf with you guys. Everyone will be waiting.
Public execution. Public execution of those kind of people. But,
you get public execution, see the first guy.
Was that a stroke? What was that?
Yeah,
what was that?
First guy who asked to be firing squad had it.
Really?
Yeah, down south.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet.
South.
That's a pretty sweet way to go. You gotta admit.
They don't usually do. It's been 15 years since they've done that.
Did they pay for the bullets? I have to assume that they pay for the bullets.
No, but you don't know. There's one person has a live bullet, and everybody else has blanks.
Oh, that
so
makes sense.
you don't know who shoots you. Or like you can't pin it on one.
That's
person.
wild.
I don't know why. I assume that's why they do it, but yeah.
What was the other thing I wanted to? Oh yeah, I mean we have to talk about the big news.
Which is.
So I mean at
Gene
the
Hackman?
end. Yeah, what?
Gene Hackman?
No, I was talking about your nomination.
Oh.
What? No.
The death of Gene Hackman, the actor.
No, that's big news in your world.
I was talking about that in the news.
It is. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot my notes. Oh, my notes are over there. But no. So Jen's podcast of the Jen Hardy Show. We're going to. I guess we kind of talked about this on their podcast, but we got invited to their gala, the podcasting gala, and I guess either our viewers or Jen's viewers nominated my mom for one of the awards.
We need one of those buttons where you push and there's like an applause.
I'll edit it in if you want. Now, here's my question. What the fuck's my nomination? I'm the one with the podcast. You just come on.
I'm in a niche market.
You're a niche market. You can't even talk into the microphone. You just talked above the microphone and you're nominated.
I beat out a 70-year-old farmer woman who just picks
Yes, yeah. We got the nominees were Irene Katushi, a schizophrenic, and
all women.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. For all I know, it's. I got you.
Thank you.
For all I know, it's.
That's fine. You weren't in the category.
I wasn't in it.
I
guess I'm not special, but so that's pretty cool. So we should be heading down. Hopefully, we're still figuring out scheduling. But hopefully we're heading down to Florida.
I'm going to have to plan a whole outfit with a tiara now.
Well, if you're doing a speech, you know I'm going to be standing there going, speech. I'm going to be the only guy in there. Everyone's like, who the hell is this kid? Speech. Well, I don't know. I guess Ken and Mike could come, but if they want to do it.
You're going to be standing going, cake shop.
Yeah. Do your promotions. Ma, we need this.
Ma, you're killing me.
You thanked everyone except for me. You thanked the dog and you forgot about me. But no, that'd be really cool if we could go to that.
Yeah.
And hopefully meet some people. I mean, Jen's become such a good friend, especially with her daughter Jay, who, again, I feel so bad because we keep doing recordings with her. And then I get these stints where either I'm home, whatever, and then I never get to put out my footage. She puts out hers, so I'm like, oh, I hope she put out hers. I never checked, but...
Yeah. She's a nice girl. We met.
Yeah, Jay did the podcast with us.
We enjoyed one, and she's really sweet.
Yeah. So we had tons of fun with that, and so we're looking forward to it. But now we have 2 weeks of news to catch up on. 2 weeks of news. Can you toss me that pad? There's two things I want to talk about.
I can do that.
Thank you. What were the two? I don't know where we want to start. Oh, do you want to start? Or let's not do articles first, because I think the big one that everyone's going to ask or has been asking is
what am I wearing to the gala?
No, Trump and Zelenskyy. Cause that happened.
Oh yeah, that was last week though.
Yeah, last week. Yeah, because we never had our podcast.
Yes.
What's the thought process? What were you thinking on that one? You know. I'm going to assume you watched it.
No, I didn't. I
you haven't seen the clip?
No, I saw the clips of. I didn't watch the whole exchange. I saw some clips of it. And then I saw some background information, some of which I have not verified, that Zelenskyy met with some Democrats first. I saw his ambassador throw her head down. Just, that spoke volumes as to he's definitely going off script here or off what the plan was, which makes you wonder what he was thinking. But obviously he's somebody that I do agree that there's been opportunities for peace. I think, not that, I wouldn't say that he doesn't care about people dying, but I think he cares more about posture and Ukraine and acting like we're big boy players and we can take on Russia and hold our own even though millions are dying. But guess what? So is their millions, so keep the war game going. I find it more interesting how I'm all for peace. I think the current president's all for peace. I don't think there's money to be made. I know they make a fortune in wars, our government and other companies, but I just don't, from the very beginning, people who watch the podcast, I always said, I don't care about Ukraine, which that was before 1 million people died. Right. I care about those people, but we got involved in something that we probably caused or had our hand in as a nation, which was wrong. A lot of it we're unraveling now through the financial crap that we're seeing that funds those kind of conflicts, that creates things in Ukraine. So when he comes to the White House, that is a privilege to go there. Whether it's Biden sitting there or Trump or Obama, whoever, and you're technically coming with your hand out. You mean nothing to us. We don't need anything from
it was a little weird where he's okay. Well, let me take it back for a second. It does feel like JD Vance kind of enticed him, because the big meme right now is you're supposed to.
You mean antagonized him?
Yeah, what did I say?
Enticed. You mean antagonized him?
Antagonized, yeah, I guess is the right word. But I forget what he said, but he's like, you should be thanking the United States. And it kind of came out of nowhere. And that's when Zelenskyy
Well, but wait a minute, there's background, because this is the third time he was supposed to sign this mineral deal. 2 times Zelenskyy got everybody there and backed out. So a lot of people didn't realize this until Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, was speaking about this. And he's a pretty mild-mannered guy. Right. Okay? He's not antagonistic like a Vice President Vance. He says, 2 times we've come to the table with this person. He finally comes to the White House. You think the third time it's more, this is just ceremonial. Not to sit there and now question everything and act like, I'm not backing out, or I'm second guessing doing this mineral deal. Which, by the way, we've already given you billions of dollars with no collateral.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, we probably paid for that over.
Right. We probably technically already paid for this mineral deal, and now we're giving you more.
And a lot of people didn't realize that until after that meeting, when now you see, oh, okay, now I understand why the president was a little bit like, you guys sit here and mouth to me, or you obviously thought we were working towards peace here. Whereas his posture was he wants to keep this going.
The way Zelenskyy kind of makes it like, the way I kind of see it is Zelenskyy kind of made it sound like, with your military, we're undefeatable, which isn't our goal. Our goal was never to continue this war, right? And then he says, I'm going to make I feel like a fair statement for Zelenskyy. English isn't his number one language, so maybe he didn't exactly mean it a certain way or the way it was said.
Right.
But he's like, your sons and daughters will feel the effects of this, or your nation will feel the effects of this. And that, the way he said it does kind of sound like a threat, and that's where Trump kind of was like, how dare you talk to us like this is, like, what's going to happen to our country. The other one that was weird was the guy that was like, why are you not wearing a suit? Do you remember that one? You know that guy? It's the guy that...
The guy or Trump, when Trump said it.
One of his guys, it's the guy that started the...
Marco Rubio.
No. It's the CEO that started, or I shouldn't say, the director of the guy that started the Project 2025. I forget his name. The owner of that company that started the 2025 project.
There were a few people involved in it.
Yeah, the head guy. But basically he's like, hey, if you're going to come to the White House, can you at least wear a suit? Now, here's what my counter argument is, where I do side with Zelenskyy. When your people are at war, I don't know if it's an appropriate thing to wear a nice multi-$1,000 suit, even if you are going to the White House.
$multi-$1,000.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
That we would be paying for without.
Yeah. Now, then again, also he is
$1
flying around on a private jet, so I guess I don't know. That one to me, I was like, I can kind of understand why you wouldn't wear a suit in the you're kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean,
optics.
I think Trump made a comment too when he pulled up, tried to make a joke about it, that he even dressed for the occasion or something to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm least concerned about that, frankly. That I don't find insulting, but I think the attitude should have been more of coming with appreciation, that we're trying to help you get peace, that we're trying to, and in all fairness, Trump did make this his platform. He was voted because he said, I will end that war. So yeah, he does have a vested interest, and it is about him personally. He got elected to do this.
Right.
And Trump, his ego. You don't come a third time and play games with us.
Right.
You're just Ukraine. Let's remember that. You're just Ukraine. And you're getting a lot of attention only because of this war over there. So I don't mean to be insulting to the Ukrainian people. They're fabulous people. But, the funny part is when the old clips of Zelenskyy in his quote-unquote acting or
his
comedy days looking like a real jerk, which, you can make the same comment about our president was The Apprentice and he did silly things. But this is somebody now who's going to come here after we've given billions of dollars to them, half of which we don't even know.
Hundreds of billions
of dollars. We don't even know where the money went, right? We're trying to work out, all right, obviously you still need funding. We got to do something here. So at least give us something in exchange.
Yeah.
And his answer is, no, I want soldiers.
Right. He wants us to fight his war.
Right.
Right.
Not just the U.S. He wants Germany, which is more than happy to do it. France, Russia. They all are very quick to say, oh, the U.S. has to send their people. They have to support this war. Where are you guys?
They just had, he goes over to them and they're like, we're going to help. But I'm curious to see what kind of help they give. They'll probably just give financiers. I doubt they're going to give soldiers.
Well,
maybe Germany, but...
Was it yesterday? Trump says, I'm thinking of withdrawing 35,000 troops from Germany.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's big. That's a message to Germany that we're their forces over there.
Yeah.
So we start withdrawing those people, they have to step up.
Yeah.
You want to start sending your people over to Ukraine to die over there and just pick a fight, more of a fight with Putin? Go right ahead. That's what he meant by World War III.
Yeah.
We're getting our people out of there. And I hope he's thinking about it. Sometimes that's enough of a threat.
Yeah, but and this is where I kind of turn a little bit on the, liberals. But the problem with the big statement is Trump's Putin's puppet or however you want to say it. But it's like, okay, well, I don't know how much of this Putin hasn't really said he wants this war. He's actually the one that said he wanted a peace deal the whole time. Even though we can get into the conspiracy of Boris Johnson saying don't do it, whatever, with Zelenskyy. But we just saw Zelenskyy say he wants to prolong this war and keep going with our soldiers, which makes me go, well, that's the complete opposite of what Putin wanted, right? Yeah. Even though Putin stepped in first because again, we won't go into the whole they broke a treaty, blah blah blah, but he attacked, and he says, well, now I want peace and I'm working towards a peace deal. And then we were like, okay, good, Zelenskyy, let's talk about this peace deal. And he goes, no, I want to keep fighting using your people. Like that to me, that's where I go, oh, why have we been funding this war? So.
And honestly,
because it doesn't seem like defense anymore. Now it seems like we're going on the attack. Yeah. And that was never the goal.
That's certainly not what Trump wants to get our country into. That's how you wind up with a 20-year Afghanistan or Middle East, and we never should have been there in the first place. Agreements were made, and I told you I was watching Bacha, Sogan Bacha, I can't think of the full name. She had a very good point. We're right where we are now, negotiating exactly where we were 2 years ago. And the difference is 1 million people have died. 1 million soldiers in Ukraine and Russian soldiers. We're right back where they're not getting into NATO. Right. Ukraine wanted to be in NATO. And Putin said, we agreed a long time ago. No, these satellite nations will not be allowed to join NATO. So fast forward, they have a democratic election. The United States winds up, we're finding out through all the Doge stuff, they wound up financing basically a coup over there with our dollars, which is becoming more and more apparent, and you wind up with Zelenskyy. That's not a democracy. Right. Why are we there? We're supposed to support democracies. That's our goal, to support democracies around the world versus communism. Okay. Well, when you're stirring up a hornets over there, to some extent, I can justify, all right, we should give them some money. I'm not happy about it, especially when our border was being overrun. But how much of it was from our stupid-ass government officials getting involved? And then you can't just walk away and say, oh, well, sorry that you had 1 million people killed. That conflict continued longer. It never would have happened if Trump was in office. I do believe that. I believe that Putin saw weakness and said, I'm nipping this NATO thing in the bud now with the past administration, and this is where we are.
Right.
But back to what we're saying. You come to our country, whether you like us or not, you're coming to us for money, basically. And now you want us to give our soldiers, when we're deploying soldiers rightly down to our own border to protect it, and up to Northern Canada to protect it. And you want to, and so I'm all for time to shake up the places over the other side of the water, right? Time to let them know, because they're the quick ones to say, oh, you don't have to struggle because there's a big water body between what we're dealing with, what you have.
Right.
Okay, it works both ways. Then why do I have my soldiers over there? Why is my our sons and daughters in Germany, in Greece, in all these Greece, wherever, all these other countries, helping and supporting the initiatives there? Bring them home.
Yeah. Huh.
If you're just going to treat us like, oh, the U.S., and I love it how all of a sudden everybody talks tough. Germany, France, UK. Okay? But when the reality is, the U.S. isn't going to support it. Well, the UK Prime Minister wound up dumping or promising soldiers and all this money as soon as after that meeting, right? Have at it. Go right ahead. Keep funding World War III. And like World War I and World War II, guess who they're going to call to bail them out?
The USA?
USA.
And then we're going to go through a depression?
It's just, whether you like the guy or not, I'm happy to see somebody in there who is just not going to, we're not going to get kicked around anymore as Americans. Every day we're learning more and more about how we're getting screwed. And God bless this country that the backbone of this country, we're keeping it afloat. We should have gone under a long time ago between Doge, the border, the things we're learning.
Really. Well,
right?
I guess it just goes to show how much money we have or have printed or taxed, whatever. But also, it still baffles me that people are upset with Elon digging this stuff out.
But they're not. That's the point. And that's what I care about this country.
The Democratic senators are. It's funny. The second he starts overturning some of these stones, they're like, he's a criminal.
Nazi, a racist.
Right? 2 years ago, before he bought Twitter, he was the smartest man in the world. Now he's the complete opposite of that. He's finding all this corruption, and he goes, yeah, so our $34 trillion debt probably isn't as high as we think. And now all the Democrats are like, how dare he? The Democratic Party is just falling apart.
Yeah.
There's nothing left of that party.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
And they're fighting. They're having meetings upon meetings upon meetings about how we got to remessage ourselves, how we have to repackage ourselves.
Oh yeah.
So you dug yourself in this hole. People mocked you for going down that road, and now you're left with a big stinking heap of transgender, sanctuary city. Anything goes, I love the immigrant versus the American citizen.
Right.
Good luck with that, because the last election, the American citizens, some of whom were Democrats and liberals, spoke up and said, we've had enough. You've taken it too far, like we said. So Trump's doing what he said he was going to do, and that's the beauty of our country.
The amount that he's accomplished in 2 months is pretty amazing. I will admit, I think a lot of it, or at least a good chunk of it, is mostly Elon right now, in the sense of digging up all this corruption that we've seen. I would say that's why you're seeing him in the spotlight a lot more, because we talked about it on the podcast. I do feel like he's a little too much in the spotlight, but then when you see what he's overturned, you go, oh, wow, it's quite a bit.
Well, I also think it's a very good strategy. Fortunately, I think Trump did learn from the first time. And the last administration made it easier because it was just getting that bad. That you have a mandate from a majority of the people in this country based on the election, right? And that mandate propels you that he just hit the ground running. Executive order, doing this, doing that. For people who are like, you can't do this, you can't do this. Damn right you can, because Biden did the same thing. He just hit the ground running. You just sign things left and right. And it really kind of caught the Democratic Party off guard. They didn't have time to launch their resistance like the last time.
Is it off guard or just completely given up? I'm going to assume you saw the whole Trump's speech. What is it? I forget what speech it is.
It's not the State of the Union, but the
yeah,
address.
Sort of like an address.
Address to Congress.
And right, they made that 13-year-old kid that had the 13 surgeries.
Yeah.
Democrats didn't even stand up for it. They had to kick Al Green out.
Yep.
I mean, they're so. I mean, I guess out of touch is the right word.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I can't even explain that. But what's weird is, and again, I'm sure there's some conservatives in there, but it's like, you guys couldn't stand up for there's no defending that, right?
Yeah.
You can come up with any excuse or, oh, you didn't see the whole thing. But still, like a kid that's had 13 brain surgeries, who was bullied his whole life because of his appearance, right? You couldn't stand up for that, even if you disagree with the guy. Right. That's kind of, to me, that's like the definition of the Democratic Party right now.
Right, and even if it's gratuitous, let it go.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on you saw the women's vote, the keep men out of women's sports, not a single Democrat voted for it.
Yeah.
And it still didn't pass.
And that's the point. They're doubling down on this pile of heap, the transgender guys, that it's not getting them anywhere.
And it doesn't make sense.
Right, and you have somebody who's I'm not a big fan of him, but Fetterman's even saying...
He's making a turnaround. But that's
your messaging doesn't make sense, and he's absolutely right. Now, I'm not saying that he's the most enlightened person in the world, but their messaging, they're doubling down on something that didn't work before.
Right.
They got shellacked. And now we're finding in Florida, of all places, that the last election, there was some real garbage going on. So for people who say, I think we talked about this last time, I'm New Jersey. What do I care about what happens in Arizona? Of course I care, because you don't have enough of a majority. So are you really getting the will of the people if you have faulty elections? Not only the will of the people in Arizona, but by right, around the country, you need a fair voice. And I don't think it was that close an election this time either. We should have more of I think the party of Trump should have more people in the House and more in the Senate. But if you recall, we had these weekly, took 3 weeks to get the votes, and votes are coming out of nowhere.
Yeah,
now they're finding legitimately fraudulent votes, or possible fraudulent votes, in Florida, of all states.
Yeah. Well, don't forget the fraudulent Social Security right, they found 130,000 people that are 150 years old still taking Social Security. Where's that going?
So similar to that, if you don't monitor it, then you have mail-in ballots where you can't check. There's a whole thing about it, but it's basically they have rules, they have regs, but nothing was done.
Right.
Therefore, there's a huge number of votes, and I can't even tell you whether Democrat or a Republican won that district. It was a state vote. I don't know, but my point is, it was blatantly fraudulent. And if that happens in red state Florida, virtually red state Florida, it's happening all over. Why do you care? If your state's clean, why do you care? You care because that makes a difference when it comes time for the big boy stuff.
Right.
When you're doing things like Doge and continuing resolutions and whatnot, and you're eking out a victory. I think there's more of a mandate than just it's a tie and Vance has to come in. I think more American citizens are not being fairly represented just based on the vote for Trump, where he said, I'm going to uncover a lot of waste and fraud.
Yeah, and now that Kash Patel's in, I hear he's going through the JFK files right now and the Epstein files.
Right.
So a lot of people are upset with how he released those, I guess, in parts.
He didn't do the Epstein files. It was Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General. And something weird happens. She's throwing some people under the bus who didn't give her all the information. Wouldn't surprise me, but to some extent, you got to go through this stuff before you make big announcements. I didn't follow exactly where the failure was, but apparently she thought new information was coming up. It was the same.
Well, she tweeted, it's a shame that all these people are going to get off scot-free. And that's where everyone was like, oh. So I think people kind of see it, and of course they're going to blame Trump for not pulling through on his promise, but...
Well, I still go back to, and I think this is a majority of America, not just you, me, and people of our same thinking. If people break the law, if a judge oversteps his boundaries, which we're seeing now, right? And if individuals, and I don't care who you are, and I don't care if it's a massive amount, if you are involved in corrupt activities against a sitting president or against our country, you need to be prosecuted, you need to be put in trial, and you need to go to jail. I don't care who you are. I don't care if your family's been in politics for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
If you're corrupt, you should do time. Look at Menendez in my state. I don't think the federal government should be exempt from this. I don't care who you are. And they've been getting off scot-free. And what do we see happen? The corruption just gets worse.
Well, yeah, really. I'm trying to bring up our articles because there's not much else to talk about in the news except for, did you watch any of Newsome on Charlie Kirk?
I didn't. I heard some blips. I heard that, Gavin Newsome sounded a little bit more moderate than I think he really is.
Yeah.
He was reading the audience.
He's a fantastic politician.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's not new to this.
Yeah, I mean, he really made him look bad.
Did he, or was he just being fair? I think he was just being... well, you have to give Newsome credit. I believe his son is a fan of Charlie Kirk's.
Yeah.
And
which is strange, but...
Charlie Kirk, I don't know how old his son is, reached out to him, or somehow they got in touch, and
Yeah, I did not think Newsome was going to be...
I think, to his credit, like Rogan and Kirk, and maybe even Bannon, if they ask you to come on their show and you don't go...
It looks worse.
It sends a message that's not a good one. So you're almost forced to do it or have a really
gotta
good
say,
excuse.
How bad is the relationship between Newsome and his son if he's a Charlie Kirk fan?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. That's...
I don't know. I'm more interested in the son than I am the father.
Yeah, now you realize that the son actually knows what he's doing?
Oh, wait a minute. I know why. It's probably his son with Guilfoyle.
That would make sense.
Yeah, they have a son. Kimberly Guilfoyle and he were married, and they had a son. I'm not sure, but I just heard the son, and naturally I think about a young
I still love how they swept under the rug that he was like having an affair with his campaign manager's wife or something like that. Did you see that?
I don't. Is that alleged? Alleged?
No, that was like no. He came out and talked about it.
So it was alleged. Gotta be careful with those.
I'll look that up right now. I think they swept it under the rug.
So Kimberly Guilfoyle was an attorney who was married to him when he was mayor of San Francisco, and they got divorced. But she went on to Fox News, and then she was dating Trump's son until they recently broke up.
Oh, I guess this was back in 2005. Wife of her campaign manager, yeah, and good friend. Nice, Newsome.
Yeah, so that's probably the son they're talking about. Now that makes sense to me. That's not that unusual, I would say.
Okay. Whatever.
So the son has probably met Charlie Kirk and knew him ahead of time. He's got to be maybe a teenager, too, or a young middle school age, yeah.
Well, like Charlie Kirk got famous for going to all those college campuses, right? Remember?
Yeah, but I don't think her son would be that old.
Oh, okay.
She's not that old. She and Newsome. But then again, he's remarried and has some little kids, so... Anyhow, political gossip. My articles were science-based. Did you have all political ones?
No, I had one article, Tinder AI, but we'll get to that in a second.
Tinder AI?
Tinder AI. Oh. Tinder Wingman. We'll get into it. Okay. Man, this computer is slow.
I have to take my notes for that.
So this was pretty cool. Yeah. Canadian man undergoes tooth and eye surgery to restore his sight. Yeah. So you guys, this is how advanced we've gotten as a podcast. I have a giant projector right now that is showing us the article. Canada man undergoes tooth and eye surgery to restore his sight, the first of its kind in Canada. The procedure uses a tooth of the patient to be used as a structure for an artificial cornea. Yeah. I cannot imagine that in my eye.
They sand it down, so I'm sure it's very small. And they drill a hole in it and they put the lens in. Now, you need to be able to suture that to the body. And, tooth is calcium. It's hard. Yeah. They take the tooth. I'm sure it's paper thin, too. They take it and they insert it into your cheek for 3 months. Right. And the reason why they do that is it's a foreign body, so tissue grows around it. Then they remove it after 3 months. Well, now you have tissue on the side that's grown into it that you can use to anchor it to the actual eye. Right. So then they go in and they remove the cornea or the iris. They remove the iris. Then they put the lens and the whole piece and they suture it in, and then you can look through the lens. The lens then becomes your cornea, your
That's
lens
pretty
top.
neat.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, guys, I won't lie to you. It's a weird look.
It's a weird look, but for somebody, if you're blind and you can see, you don't care what you look like. You wear sunglasses, at least
and
you
it
can
says
see.
that you're able to see through a small hole.
Yeah.
So it's not like you get full vision back. It's more like you're still looking through a tube.
Right.
But that's better than nothing.
Much better than nothing. If you've never seen your child's face, at least you can look at your child's face.
Here's a question. What if we take out multiple teeth to make a teeth wall? Can we get a bigger hole?
Oh, well, I don't know. It might be because of what our capabilities are for the lens itself in order to capture everything. Remember, it's reflecting onto your brain. So I don't know if we're limited right now by not the tooth, but the size of the lens that they can work with.
Right. That makes sense. It's just still kind of gross.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, but it's amazing that they've come that far with it. And who knows? You start pumping some stem cells in there.
That's a good point, too.
You could get all sorts of growth and
can you pump stem cells into that, though? It's technically just a tooth. Like, it's not a muscle or anything.
No, I mean in the eye. Once you put it in there, who knows with stem cells what it could grow into.
Yeah. All I know is I'm not doing that.
Thank God you don't have to, Chris.
Yeah, really.
Thank God you don't have to.
Which one's this? Oh, I know this person. James Harrison, blood donor of rare plasma, saves millions of babies, has died at 88.
Yes.
So here's the question. Did they just suck up all of his blood?
No.
Towards the end, they were like, we need this guy's everything.
No, but he was a child. Looks like he had lung cancer, or he had to have some
this guy's pretty
surgeries
famous.
since he was younger. And they made it seem like he developed this anti-D in his blood. So he's Australian. It's a rare and I can't even read my own handwriting. Precious antibody. It's called anti-D. This man donated 1,173 times in his life. Right. Anti-D is used to make a special meds for pregnant mothers. So certain pregnant mothers, if they can develop this thing called rhesus disease, where their body looks at their child's blood. Or their blood looks at the child's blood as an antibody, and it attacks it. So the child will die, they'll have miscarriage, or it could be born with brain damage, right? So they're attributing about 2 million children saved by this man in his blood.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I could do the same thing, but I'm not good with needles.
You don't have special blood.
You don't know that?
He received many awards, including the Medal of the Order of Australia. And his comment was, he was just so happy to do it. It didn't hurt. And, it saved lives. What's better than that? 2 million people. 2 million babies because of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
88.
Great story.
Up until there's thousands of babies were dying each year. Yeah, wow. Good for him. Too bad he died. 88-1 is a good run, considering how much they took from you.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to see if they were to take all the blood that he's ever donated and all the plasma and put into one big bag. I'd like to know how much that is.
Yeah.
Because that would be insane. I saw, is it Brian Johnson? The guy that's trying to live forever?
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name.
They showed a video of him with a bag of his plasma. It's a huge bag.
Geez.
But I was like, God, the body has that much plasma in it? Given, obviously, your body regenerates it. But I was like, oh, man.
Isn't he trying to pump young stuff in?
Yeah, right. He has to give his stuff.
Generate or something?
The guy, listen, I appreciate what he's doing. He's trying to find the cure to aging, essentially. But, that's a life. Every day you're just doing procedure after procedure. Yeah. He's had facelifts, obviously.
Right.
He's not as perfect. He looks like Dracula.
Well, I wasn't sure if he had a major illness of some sort where he was. That's why he had this incentive to try and reverse the clock and be younger.
I don't think so, but he owned a medical company beforehand. He sold the medical company, and that's how he made a lot of his money. That's been funding this thing that he's doing. So. That's the big
Thank you, James.
Yeah, James Harrison. Thank you for your service.
Yep.
Which one is this?
Now, on the flip side, the human cannonball. Did you see that article?
Human cannonball. Well, this guy saved lives in the sense that he put a smile on people's faces. Human cannonball seriously injured after gust of wind makes him miss safety net during death-defying stunt.
I gotta tell you, it sounds So surreal is kind of silly. I would never think a gust of winds could throw off a human cannonball, but guess what? He missed the net. It's a 20-foot net. A wind came along and pushed him so far that he hit the side of the net, lands on asphalt.
Oh, damn.
Seriously injured.
Yeah.
Broken ribs,
broken wrist, and a lacerated liver. That's a
Yes.
bad one.
Oh, yeah.
Lacerated liver is
It's not
dangerous.
good. Then to add insult, his name is Chachi the Rocket Man Valencia. And,
I don't think he's a rocket man after this one.
oh man, the sad part is, well, the whole thing is sad, but what's really ridiculous is he winds up leaving the hospital because he doesn't have any insurance. I just couldn't. Are you shitting me?
You know, they say Evel Knievel spent like a full year in a hospital. Like, just if you were to
Yeah,
tally it
all
up,
the
it was like
time.
a full year. I was thinking, what are those medical bills? This guy probably had to walk it off because he doesn't have.
He couldn't walk it off, but
Yeah.
he was. They kind of asked him. He says, "Yeah, I knew the winds were bad, and normally I wouldn't do it, but all the people were there. They were so excited. Well, what did they have to witness? Those kids were not cheering
My
at the end of
sick
that.
self. If I watched him miss that net, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think it would be surreal. Like you wouldn't expect that. If you go down to towards the end of the article, I didn't write the little stats down, but where is it? Keep going down
Oh, really?
towards the
There's more?
end.
Oh, I'm
well,
looking at the
there's a
later.
lot of it. He's done F1. He's done NASCAR.
Oh, really?
But they talk about. Yeah, keep going. I just want to. Okay, the Cannonball, free flying through the air at speeds of 55 miles per hour, heights of over 65 feet, and distances of 165 feet. He lands in a narrow net set 20 feet off the ground and rocks the crowd every time when he hits his target at the center, takes off his helmet. Didn't work this time.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. If I'm watching a guy fly out of a cannon, right? Is it bad that I kind of don't want to see him hit the net? I feel like that's the allure.
jeez.
You know, like I feel like. Oh,
Of course you
that
don't.
was almost really bad. I'm hitting everything over here. This is why we need a producer. I stopped it, then I started it, but
Chris, we're not going to get a producer.
how much? How much? I will pay for it. If I had to watch someone hit the net, like if you told me, yo, I'm about to launch myself out of a cannon and I'm going to land in a net that's 20 feet
20
big.
feet off the ground.
My brain, if I see you did it, I'm just going to go and walk away. If I see you hit asphalt, we're going to have a great time.
Well, my concern is they set up a GoFundMe page.
I know.
And usually the stupidest stuff they'll raise like $100,000 in an hour. He's only gotten 10 grand so far.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
This guy is just.
Yeah. We got people running scams for their kids on GoFundMe.
Right.
And this guy can only raise $10,200.
As
that
of
might
yesterday.
fix one of his ribs.
And you would think like the first people you got to send the GoFundMe to is anybody who got a ticket to that because they had to witness that.
Yeah.
I would have
Poor
to pass
guy.
a hat for the guy before you
Poor
leave.
guy. What's the recording? Yeah, we're good.
And by the way, you'd think the event, it was a country fair. Okay. I don't know who sponsored the country fair, if it was a state. It looked like a typo. It said Indio. I think about India. Do they not have insurance for the guy?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would think that the place would have the insurance.
The whole story is just sad. It's supposed to be a nice event. It's just so sad.
This guy makes a living shooting himself out of a cannon. And all he can raise is $10,000 for his medical bills.
Well, I hope because of the story more people give because it's just like
I don't. No, I don't.
That just
I don't.
shocked
Hold
me.
on, hold on. No, this is where we're going to have a disagreement. You're launching yourself out of a cannon. No.
But it
he
was just-
shouldn't be making money on a GoFundMe.
it wasn't his fault, but at a minimum, like one of the weather sites should be sending him money.
Yeah.
'Cause
You knew. He even said, "I knew I wasn't supposed to do it because I never do it on the woods."
Oh,
but
he
the
didn't-
crowd
yeah,
wanted to
so
see it.
you better pass
There's
the hat.
5 people in that crowd. 5 people.
I want to see every little kid pull their allowance out of their pocket
Yeah.
and throw it into that basket for this poor man. Jesus.
I'm just thinking if Kenny and I were there, we're sitting there watching this guy.
Kenny wouldn't be able to stop
I'd be like,
laughing.
"Oh."
Yeah. Well, you would have thought it was like a joke.
I go, "Oh."
Yeah, I would think it was a joke. Like he purposely missed it.
I just
as a
see like
joke.
an ant, just like a guy the size of an ant at a distance, just laying there,
Hitting the
running
asphalt.
over. I'd go, "Oh."
Hitting the asphalt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then you have the audacity to ask me for a GoFundMe. You have the audacity to launch yourself out of a... If you got hit by a car, that's one thing. If you're launching yourself out of a cannon and you miss because of the wind...
This is the kind of article you're expecting, and then the ambulance ran him over.
Yeah, really. You tried getting up and
poor
the
Mr.
next
Valencia.
guy don't get me wrong. I feel bad for you, but dude, you're launching yourself out of a cannon.
We do. But, and by the way, okay, so that's my point. Is that the profession you have with no health insurance?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think this guy lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But also, how about we get a bigger net?
Hello?
Maybe 20 feet's not enough.
Is that his goal? A smaller net?
Maybe you have to adjust for wind. Now the wind doesn't matter if you go 50 feet. And I guarantee the GoFundMe money will.
You might want to do a little of this next time. And move the cannon to the right.
Yeah.
It's going to be
He's doing a draw.
Oh, no one's going to watch this podcast ever again.
Yeah, I have sympathy for a guy that's launching himself at 55 miles an hour, 65 feet in distances of 165 feet.
There's so many things wrong. Yeah. No insurance. Yeah. Didn't check the
I hope this guy doesn't have kids.
Didn't move the cannon a little bit to the left. Yeah. Oh, God.
I have to factor in the drag. What are we...
Like, how many times has he been doing this? He knew it was windy.
23 years of cannon experience?
Yeah, maybe you adjust the cannon. Maybe after the first few years you make some money and spring for insurance.
Well, the crowd was cheering him on. So all 7 of them in the crowd. So I had to do it.
What was it? Yay! Oh!
There we go. Oh!
Yay! Oh!
The one parent shielding their kid's eyes. Dad, why is he not moving? Just turn.
Yeah, shielding the kid. Oh my God.
Yeah. God.
Kid on your lap and you're...
Shield the kid's eyes. No, but...
The clown car ambulance goes out there.
Yeah.
The guy's clowns at the back.
They get a little cannon to shoot him in the back.
Jeez. Poor guy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that sucks.
That's terrible.
No offense, dude. I'm not giving you any GoFundMe.
No.
How do you not have insurance? But yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Those were my 3. Yes, sadly, my 3 articles. 2 highs and 1 low.
No, you sent me a 4th.
Did I? Oh no, I sent you.
This is the AOC one.
Yeah, she had it turns out an alien from Colombia as her deputy communications director, and who was it? Starbuck was his name. The guy who did it. $80,000 a year. Has she been paying taxes for him? I thought that was very interesting, right?
He is now self-deported from the U.S. to Colombia.
Yeah.
Why was he a sitting member of a Congress employee? Wait, but...
She was employing him as her director, and his point is at the top. This should be a massive story because you have to pay taxes for those employees, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was an employee of his, her campaign, and turns out he's making $80,000 a year. He wants to go back to Colombia, so she was hired somebody who was not a citizen to do this job, and he winds up going back. But when you hire somebody like that, you have to pay taxes for them.
Miss AOC. God, how can it get any worse for you?
I don't know. She's another interesting one. Everyone keeps saying she's going to run for president. Okay.
Yeah.
She probably will, which is a sad commentary. Well. She'll try. But when things like this happen, it really makes you wonder. They love to shoot their mouth off about
with the viral clip of, is it Holman? Holman. Of him just destroying her on what the definition of an illegal is. I remember.
She sent a letter to the Department of Justice to find out, am I being investigated for this? So either he's scared her enough that he referred her for investigations, or she's poking the bear a little bit, calling his bluff. If you say I'm doing something illegal, which I think is my First Amendment right, to instruct people how to avoid the ICE from getting them, imprisoning or arresting them.
Right.
That's an issue to me. It's wrong to do that, especially as an elected official. But if we're going to take it to the Supreme Court, whatever. But if there are laws on the books, and we've heard Attorney General Bondi say I'm gonna go after people that leak. I think she's already got a couple of people who leaked these ICE raids, and now this one and others are going out trying to. And it turns out she had an illegal alien on her staff who wound up sending himself back to Colombia. Great. Is she gonna pay his taxes?
I'm looking at the lights on this thing. I've never seen it do that before. I don't know
red,
what's
red?
going on.
I think we're good. God, where the hell is my producer? This is ridiculous.
He's putting
What
on
does that even mean?
his man tan down in Miami.
Yeah, hey Mike, where the hell are you, brother? This thing's blinking. Hold on, give me dead silence for a second. I mean, it seems like it's fine. It's working. I don't know. This podcast's already.
Can you stop and play it back to see if it worked, or you can't do that? You have to.
Well, it just stopped doing whatever it was doing. Oh. So we're good now, but.
Maybe when we're really loud, it gets very red.
Where the fuck is my producer, Ma?
I told you.
I should have got Jordan on this.
He's watching I should
have got Jordan.
He's watching the cats down there.
Oh yeah, Matt and he got cats.
He's
these tiny
cat
cats
kitty.
that look like little Cannonballs. I'm trying to steal one, but then he told me that each one's $2,000. I was like,
no, each one's $1,000.
oh, I'm gonna say
difference.
$2,000. Sounds way cooler.
Well, 2 for $2,000.
2 for $2,000.
Or you can get badass Missy for nothing.
Yeah, or you can find a poverty-stricken kitten.
She was in poverty. She was rejected by her mother.
She
Big
was
difference.
rejected by her mommy.
Rejected by her mother, so she found Kenny.
Yeah. All right, I thought this one was pretty. This is sad. You ready for this one? Tinder is rolling out an AI wingman to help struggling users. This is what the tech will do for you. This is, okay, let me tell you how far we've fallen, guys. So first off, Tinder's designed because no one can ask a girl out anymore, right? Or ask a partner out. Yep. Now, you can't even, this thing will text for you.
Oh my God.
This thing will, okay, hold on. It will, okay, hold on. It says what it does. It will give effective coaching for the struggling users. Hey, throw every advertisement in my face, please.
So are you dating a person or an AI?
No, let's say you swipe, you get a match. It will decide for you which of your pictures are the most popular. It will write messages to matches and will give effective coaching advice for struggling users who can rely on a chatbot to help guide them through conversations. Mom, where are we at as a society?
No, but I'll say this for the record.
Send nudes. That's all you say.
Lie.
I don't care about your feelings.
I told you heard the story, but I'm going to say it for the podcast people. British actress giving a speech talking about how computers have affected education and society basically negatively. She starts her speech, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. She starts her speech by saying she was on a bus, train, whatever, in the UK. 2 people sit down about the same age, a man and a woman. Looks like they could be from similar backgrounds. It's not like one's ethnically dressed from some other area, whatever. They both have their phones out, and they're both looking at dating services. And she thought, isn't that indicative society? Before all the Tinders, the AI, all this stuff, maybe you would turn and talk to the person and get to know that person. It's just ironic how they both look like maybe they were imperfect for each other, but that's how you used to do it. Instead, they're looking at a phone in their hand and opportunity sitting right next to them. So now we got AI doing it.
You know, I will say that the Tinders, the Bumbles, whatever, those are more, I would say, like young 20s or late teens. Like nowadays, I mean, they're so oversaturated that, like, I was asking my neighbor about it because she was on dating apps for a little bit, and she's like, yeah, it's such a problem because for women, you just swipe right, it's constantly a match because it's just guys slamming the like button. So there's no, like, these dating apps suck. There's nothing good out there, I guess.
It's only as good as what you put into them. It's like anything else. And so, you know, and you hide behind reality.
Yeah.
When you meet somebody at a bar, you can lie. You can make up who you really are. Eventually, they're going to figure it out if they continue with the relationship. And it may take a long time. But you can't, you know, you can only hide behind this stuff for so long.
Yeah.
So it's almost, to me, it's almost like a waste of time. Okay, so you meet somebody. If that's what you're looking for, just a one-hit wonder, fine. But that's not a relationship doing it this way.
I mean, some people are just really good texters, and then in person, they like can't have a conversation.
Yeah,
usually it's the other way around, but there's definitely some people like that.
But if this is the future of dating, is that the answer now? Now you're going to introduce AI to it?
Well, the future's the robots. The future's going to be when you're dating robots.
God. How
Way
sad
better.
Is that?
Way
How
better.
sad is that?
Don't have to listen to their problems and shit.
Spoken like a creepy guy. I want my robot for Christmas, Mommy.
I don't need you anymore, Brittany.
I got my new girlfriend
My
2.0.
robot talks nice to me every day.
Yeah.
She never yells at me.
She cooks, she cleans. Yeah.
She's good
She
to
does
me.
the laundry.
She never yells at me like you do.
She doesn't tell me her problems I don't care about.
She doesn't make a face at me or roll her eyes. Yeah.
No, but it's funny. I mean, this was inevitable. I mean, they've been talking about this forever. But like, I know kids that can't call in Chinese food, let alone they're not fucking talking to someone of the opposite gender. That's Kenny. That's my brother Kenny, by the way.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though, Chris. That's how everybody is.
Yeah.
You all start out that way. Problem is they're not doing it at the age when you're supposed to get the creepy stuff out of the way, and you grow up, or the awkward stuff, and you grow out of it and you learn. Some never do, but that you're supposed to go through that. Unfortunately, now they're doing it when they're in their late 20s.
And that's why. Well, that's why. Well, there's a correlation between. I mean, everything correlates together when it comes to dating, but like. Now, because so many women are in the workforce, which isn't a bad thing, right? Most of them are set on their careers until I think it's like 26, and then they start looking. Mm-hmm. And then same with guys. The other one is like the divorce rates at its all-time highest because of these dating apps.
Yep.
The number of marriages has gone down. Like the age of marriage has gone up.
Yeah, people aren't marrying anymore.
And the amount of marriages has gone down. Mm-hmm. Like the odds of children are slim to none at this point.
There are fewer, especially in the Western world, fewer people having kids. The pendulum will most likely swing at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And because it's just going to break down. It's not going to
swing with these dating apps, though. These dating apps have to go before it swings.
I guess
they have to get so bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, once you start swiping and all you're getting are the whales, that's when you got to... when you get...
Oh, man.
When you're getting the belugas.
It'll swing back when humans have to huddle together against the AIs.
Yeah, right.
That's what we will
have
become.
A Terminator love story.
We're gonna go back to the gothic, what's the term I'm thinking of? The dystopian society where everybody has to band together, and you wind up going back to the old, meeting in an alley with a group of people that are not AI bots. Sad but true. So yeah, I think it's gonna swing back. Well, we could also look at the positive. Maybe this will help people who meet who never would have met if AI hadn't improved their abilities, to your point, for that awkwardness. Mm-hmm. Just because somebody's awkward doesn't mean they're not a phenomenal person when you get to know them, or if they're shy or they're insecure. Maybe this will help those individuals on Tinder and other sites to rely on it, feel more confident because their messaging is better.
Yeah, maybe, and then at some point, maybe they won't even need the bot tool or whatever.
Right.
So it might not be a bad thing, but also I do feel like, to your point, you got to fumble a couple times before you... Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And you should do it at a young age, but that doesn't happen anymore. Or it's not as common. I don't believe that it doesn't happen at all.
Eventually you learn the pickup lines. Do you know what my pickup line is, Mom?
What? Oh, geez. Do I want to know? As you're sitting here with your mother doing a podcast on a Saturday night?
Right, the one that I always say to Kenny is... Dan, girl, are you mentally challenged? Because you're looking extra special today.
Oh, that's a good one. That
works every time.
Again, Saturday night with Mom on a podcast.
I'm thinking about the cheesecake that's in the fridge.
That cheesecake. I had the brownies in the clear container on the counter.
Thinking about the guy that missed a 20-foot net.
Oh, no. Maybe he did it on purpose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Maybe the views... Maybe the views of the Carnival act were going down, and they said, "Hey, dude, we need you to take a spill."
He wasn't picking up ladies like he used to.
It was like,
"Hey, I'm Mr. Rocket Man Cannonball." It wasn't working for him.
Trying to impress that one person in the crowd. Oh man, I am.
Well, subsequently in that speech, which gives me hope for the future, the woman was saying how all these electronics in school hasn't helped. And more, which we have talked about in this podcast, more and more schools are doing away with the phones, doing away with the social media, forcing kids to communicate.
All the stats are there.
Which I'm hoping the younger generations will be less socially awkward, more willing to speak to people of other genders. Well, I think the
COVID generation's kind of cooked. They didn't really have much of a chance because, right, if you were in those developing periods in 2019 to 22, It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean,
It's gonna be tough.
but it's a small enough group. But I think actually because it's a wider span than that. COVID kind of was the nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what really highlighted for everybody from education, from social skills, health purposes, all that stuff. Really highlighted. Let's take a pause here. Where are we going with this? The kids are now sitting on the computer 24 hours a day because they're doing school there, et cetera, et cetera. What's the quality? It really started people, meaning adults, questioning where are we going with the future of our basically our world, not just our country, and what's the benefit? And they're not seeing the benefits.
Yeah.
They don't. Academia doesn't want to admit that yet. Teachers don't want to admit it. A lot of people make it so much easier.
It's gonna happen though. I mean, it'll swing to your point, but it's gonna take a bit.
I think I like it already that more and more people are. One's not flicking at all. More and more people are.
I meant my projector.
Oh.
It's making like a sound. I was like, what the hell?
More and more people are. Young people are seeing the benefits of not having social media 24/7, like
right.
Just in school. We talked about that the last time I was here, and Taiwan started it. They called it Tian 120. They have to be outside 120 minutes every day in school in Taiwan, and they're not. Oh, I'm sorry. That's something else. I'm mixing up my stories. That was from the myopia, another problem with people looking at the screens.
Right.
That's something different. But being outside with no phones, kids are forced to play. They're forced to interact. That's only going to help them.
That's how
as
we
they get
were.
older.
Recess was the best part of the day.
Yeah.
Back growing up, I remember the playground at St. E's. Now kids just.
But that's because you were the end of, you were
Yeah.
the beginning of the social media. Not every kid had a phone, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we didn't have the smartphones till I remember when someone got their first. No, actually that's a lie. I don't remember anyone getting iPhones and.
No, they didn't have iPhones. They had flip phones. They have the little phones. People started getting.
I remember the Envy.
Yes, people started getting phones. Probably when you guys, some in grammar school, but more like middle school.
Remember the Juke? Do you remember the Juke? The Juke was the phone that was like a switchblade. Remember that thing?
No,
That thing was sick.
Oh. Kenny had the slider one that apparently I kept it because apparently it was one of the first of its kind. And having said that, that's you guys were kind of your brother Michael has been born into it, and
Mike had an iPhone at like 8.
I really think it's gotten no, he didn't. I really think it's gotten worse. The amount of electronics, and that's why, fortunately, it's affecting one generation.
Right.
I think. They're making changes, probably not on a universal level, but enough to say, let's do some experiments with kids who have none of this. It's a big difference.
You don't remember this thing?
Oh, yeah, look at that. I do.
It was like a
remember
switchblade.
that. Samsung Juke.
The Juke. It's like a switchblade. This thing
Yeah.
is sick. Vintage parts only. Back then, that was a $150 phone. Now it's $29.99. $25.99, but.
Wow.
How time flies. All right, Mom, we just did quite a bit of time. I don't even know where we're at. Yeah. I don't know what else to talk about.
That's what you brought one article to the table, Tinder AI?
No, there's a couple other ones, but they weren't that good. And the two ones I want to talk about was the Zelenskyy, Kirk stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
We didn't do too much of the Kirk. Did you watch you don't watch the Ian Carroll podcast with
Well, I
JR?
told you, that came out of nowhere when you said something's been going on because he was on a lot of, or I guess.
Now his Twitter's going like crazy.
Is it?
Yeah, he was on AJ today, I think, or
No,
yesterday.
put it up. We have a long car ride
Yeah, you gotta get
tomorrow.
our car ride.
Home, so.
My parents are leaving me tomorrow.
Your grandmother keeps telling everybody it's 5 hours. I wouldn't want to sit in the car 5 hours. Dad's in the back and going, try 8. Try 8.
Gma sense of time's a little off, but.
And then you got to tack on extra for Bobo because we got to get out and walk in.
Bobalicious, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
So, what else? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, not much to promote because we haven't really been doing too much. I posted the Twitch clips for the last 2 months today, so go check that out. It's Saturday. And then, I forget, the other one was Mass Effect, the Games Pass Roulette.
Chris will be getting a haircut.
Yeah, I need a haircut so
His
bad.
mother's here and she said yes.
Yeah, she said I have to get a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And then, keep, I think we have to go to Jen's I gotta get the website for you guys. Hold on 1 second. To nominate Mom for this award.
Oh, I have to be nominated? Oh.
Well, you're already nominated, but the more votes, the better,
That's
I guess.
right. I thought I won it. You made it sound like I won it.
No.
Okay. I'm just up for the award.
You're just up for the award. We're nominated.
I gotta work for this?
I better see a speech. If there's no speech, I gotta be pissed.
Oh, jeez.
What's the name of the Indonesian?
I gotta practice my face when the camera hits me when I lose.
Yeah.
I like those more than anything at the Oscars. The Academy Awards, when you see the faces of people.
She told me. Hold on, let me get the thing for it. Oh, so jenhardy.net/gala, and I think then you'll be able to nominate me for something, or vote for Mom. So that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I don't want to know what it is. Might be most wrinkles on the podcast. I don't know.
Well, he's such a nasty kid.
Love you, Mom. I can say that because you're my podcast.
Well, they got to nominate. Is it based on name or would it be the cake shop?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have to do the intro after this.
I don't know if you post a name. Do you do that? The full name? I'm sure we have put our name out there.
For what? The Cake Shop podcast?
No, but if they have to do it by my name.
Oh, yeah, they know our last name's Katucci.
Okay.
They're not going by your maiden name.
Damn, imagine if there were 2 Katucci's up there. For the award. Imagine if there was another Katucci.
Oh, that'd be wild.
No, that'd be just wild.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
It'll never happen, though.
Never happened.
But, yeah, so
There
that's...
is an Irene Katucci in the world. Did you know that?
No.
There's another one. She's in Italy. She's a doctor. And she's done some incredible work with breast cancer.
Wow, really?
Packaging, yeah. I happened to look up my name one day. I don't know why. I think I had to do something for somebody like that.
Just out of boredom?
Like no, I don't do that crap. I could care less. It sounds too vague. But I put the name in and it popped up and I go, there's a Chris Katucci also, another Chris Katucci in North Carolina.
Is it, really?
Yeah. I'm like,
Kill him.
damn, what the hell? And I'm reading it and I said, wow, she's better than me. I'm going to be her. I'm not, yeah, damn. See, no,
I don't know
Spanish.
what would happen. If I looked at my name, I don't know if...
That's Spanish.
I don't know if Pancake 101 comes up by default. I've never checked.
I haven't done that.
I only look up my network.
I don't really care about you. I was just doing it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about you.
I only look up my net worth.
I look myself up.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I think if I was to put in Chris Katucci, I think Pancake 101 just comes up. But I'm not sure.
Well, like I said, fortunately, this wonderful person who, I don't know her, but who seems to be doing all the science in Italy, her name comes up first. So hopefully if anybody Googles me, damn, she's smart.
We got leading doctor of breast cancer, and then we have podcaster. They're right next to it. Which one do I want?
Ciao, bene.
Yeah.
I put out my Italian.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, I do that. That was my main job, and I lost my accent.
It's your alter ego.
I love my accent.
You're like Hannah Montana.
For fun, I do a podcast in an American accent.
With a son that's not on the Wikipedia page.
With a son.
So she has all daughters.
Damn.
Yeah, so we got one podcast after this at home, and then we have the live podcast, and then after that, I think we have the Florida.
Me at home, you mean?
Yeah, you at home.
Yeah.
I'm always home. I don't leave this box. I don't leave this Jenny department.
God, don't even say that.
But yeah, so only things I have to promote. So obviously, as I said, the Twitch clips, the Game Pass Roulette video. This comes out Sunday. I gotta figure out. We gotta start our speed runs soon, which will be fun. And then that's pretty much it. Mom
Speed
makes
run, isn't that what you do when the food truck comes?
That's fucked up. You know that's fucked up.
Don't talk to me about it like that.
But
Don't you use that bad
messed up.
language.
My mom just called me fat on the podcast. That was messed up. But yes, there is a food truck that comes every day, and they do sprint. They purposely come to my door because they know that I'm a high value.
Okay,
They know I'm a high value.
Since they've all seen you on your podcast, I have to tell them what I said.
You know what would be hilarious? Mom gets famous off this nomination, and then it's just paparazzi of this. It's just so me. Look at have these trucks, and then
Okay, now you're
the picture. Me in my sweatshirt and pajamas. It's like, oh, and, you know, it's gonna be those. You know, when you see those.
She won for what?
You see the. This is his podcast host, and then it's always gonna be the title of. You know, the clickbait title of "He's not doing well." as I'm getting a funnel cake. Yeah, it's nice. My place always has a food truck, like probably like once a week, I would say. And let me tell you, I'm sprinting to that thing. I'm like,
Well, I told you, since they all see you when I came down here, obviously I said, you need a haircut. So when you showed me on the food truck, I was saying to Chris, between your hair, the tank top, the pajama pants, I don't even think Folksy takes his slippers off. I think he just felt those.
I got traction on the bottom. I'm like, get out of the way.
Sprinting saying, food truck, food truck, food truck.
After I just that's messed up.
Oh, yeah, no, well,
That family of five that wants
my
to.
fear when I leave here. What
I
goes
had
on?
to push a kid down the other day because he was in my way.
He was 8.
Yeah, he was like, Dad, that guy pushed me down. He said, stay away from him. That guy is on tear.
With his crazy hair, he's wearing pajamas. Stay away from him.
The food trucks are always pretty good, but the Philly cheesesteaks yesterday were overpriced.
They didn't do very well.
Who gets a Philly cheesesteak without a side? No fries. $15. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He made a 7-cheese baked ziti. There was no cheese on that whatsoever. He really effed that up. So I don't know. Hey, he's definitely from Philly if he's messing that up.
You gonna start rating them for the?
Oh, 100%.
You should post something on the.
The second we get fame, Mom. The second I'm gonna end some food truck lives. You know, I'm gonna end some careers.
It was so bad. He cannot sponsor the day job.
I said to him, I was like, that was a weak-ass cheesesteak, dude. He's like,
even if you beg me, you're not sponsoring me.
Yeah, I'll take your food, but I'm not doing it.
Not sponsoring me, no.
Please, guy's on his hands and knees. But yeah, so we'll end it there. Mom's got an 8-hour drive tomorrow, so we don't want to prolong this too much. This podcast is probably going to be a little bit of a cob job because I realized that I hit... we were just talking about not adding to the bill of the podcast. I was like, I might need a new laptop. I was like, man, this thing didn't record like the first 20 minutes of our audio, so I'll be the go. I can fix that.
Oh my God.
But it's always something. If only I had my producer.
Yeah. And make him.
Yeah.
Michael,
and he's going to the food truck because I can't go out there anymore. He's got to go out for me. Like, I'll give you money. Go.
You will never leave this box.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I make Brooke go. My neighbor.
Your neighbor?
Yeah. Look.
Does she have to win?
Does she
have to look like you?
Brooke, you gotta go out there. You gotta look like absolute shit. Yeah. There's been some times. Okay. Not one of my prouder moments. But Brooke and I went to.
Oh God, do I want to hear this?
Probably not. Which one was this? I think I told you this, but Brooke and I went when I was just getting to know Brooke. We went to that burger place. I think it was. Shout out to Gigi's. Gigi's is actually really good, and I got 2 things. Or 3 things or whatever, like an appetizer.
You're talking about truck.
The truck. Gigi's food truck.
That's the place.
That one I will give a shout out to. They're good. But I ordered like 3 things. And I'm with Brooke, and I was like, my family's here. I gotta.
Now she knows, you fat ass. Now she knows.
I was like, no, I got like.
Oh, come
I said my aunt and uncle are coming over.
Oh my God. Shame on you.
I got 2 burgers and like an appetizer. I didn't eat all of it. If it makes you feel better, I saved it for the next day. Because in my defense, Aunt Sue and Uncle Jerry did plan on coming.
There's no defense, Chris. You're not lying.
I definitely went. That was a new level for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take this and this and this. And I was like, sometimes I order that way too. Like when I order stuff.
People call that rock bottom. Not you.
Yeah, sometimes another one that I do, Mom.
Dig deeper.
Another thing that I do is when I go to Harris Teeter and the ice cream's on sale and someone's next to me, I'm like,
Kitty party.
No, I'll go like this. I'll grab mine and I'll go. She'd probably like that way.
Damn, Chris, damn.
As if I'm bringing one back for someone, but there's no one. It's like a family with their kids.
I'm
Like, well, hold on, in my defense, Ben & Jerry's when it goes on sale, you can get 2 for $5, which is a crazy deal. So I'm like, I can get 4 for $10. And I'm like, oh, she'll really like this.
But you gotta know. You gotta go guilt.
I'm like, oh, I'll get some for the kids. I don't even have kids. So that's yeah, you're right. I've hit rock bottom, but that was back before I was dieting. That was like December. So I was like, I should really like this one.
Oh, that's so sad. Obviously, I have to come down more.
Yeah, she'll like this. I've really done that before. That's not a fake story. I'll be sitting there, this lady's like behind me watching. I'm like, yeah, she'll really like that one. I looked at her and I said, I hope she likes this one. She was like, yeah. Little did she know, getting 4 of them and they're all the same.
Oh, God.
That was a fat move right there.
Laughing on the outside, crying on the inside.
Oh, my God. Oh, so, yeah, we'll end it there.
Yes, I think we better.
Yeah. You guys just saw my lowest moment.
Yeah, this just crossed over to self-help.
Self-help and therapy. On my couch, I'm sitting like this. Thank God.
Oh, God.
Baby. All right, guys, we'll end it there.
My fear is they're going to park a food truck right outside here.
Yeah, because they know I'm a high-value customer. They bring it right to me now. I got my own card. They give me
what is it, like the length of one parking lot?
Yeah, it's the distance about maybe a football field, and I'm like, 50 yards is a little too much.
They figured it out. They're going to park damn right outside your building.
Yeah, really. All right, guys, we'll end it there. So social media promo code, stream links down below. I feel like we did a good job, even though this is going to be a little bit of a cob job with all the parts here, but we should be good. So, Mom, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
And
see you next time.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see someone in Miami. Who knows? Or no, not Miami. Orlando or wherever it is. We'll have to ask Jen. But all right, later.